Hey friends, welcome back to your Magnetic Minute of Hope, a place to remember who you are when things feel heavy. And that's what we're going to talk about today. You've probably heard it before, the old adage, the only way to it is through it. But today I want to anchor that in even deeper because this is a really hard truth for me and something that I've been really leaning into lately. And I think that the core truth of this that I want to lead with is that you can't bypass the challenge. You can't skip the discomfort. And the fact is that if you try to do those things, you try to bypass it, you try to skip it, then you miss the very thing that your soul came here for, which is the lesson, the wisdom, the becoming. I've talked about that, the becoming. I've talked about that a few times now on these episodes. And that's really what it's about. And, you know, at a physiological level, our bodies really yearn for safety. Like that's what we want. We want to feel safe. And so, of course, we want to bypass the challenge. Of course, we want to skip the discomfort. It's not fun being in the uncomfortable. It's not fun being in the hard stuff. It's not fun being in the challenge. But the whole reason that we are experiencing those things are for the lesson, the wisdom, the becoming. That's the whole point. And in the words of Ryan Holiday, the obstacle is the way, not around it, not over it, but through it. And if you haven't read that book, I highly recommend Ryan Holiday. I think he has a couple of books. But it's about going through it. That is the way. That is the way to the wisdom. That is the way to the becoming. And I find this over and over again. This hits me where something comes up into my path, whether it's something in business or relationships, a hard conversation, whatever it is. And especially if you're a non-confrontational person, right? And it has to do with people or relationships. Of course, you want to bypass. You don't want to have uncomfortable conversations. Or if it's something in your business and you're going through a period where there's uncertainty or financial things happening. I mean, this has happened over and over and over again to me. And yeah, of course, you're praying. My prayers are like, just make it stop, just make it stop. But that's not helping anybody. And the fact is, it's the reason it's not stopping is the resistance, right? Dr. Joe Dispenza says, whatever you resist persists. I think that originally came from Carl Jung. But the fact is, we resist those things. Of course, they're going to persist. Because the way, that's it. It's through it. That's the way. The obstacle is the way. And you can imagine these instances being like a wall. And I know I've said that so many times. Like I feel like I'm hitting against a brick wall. But the fact is that if you surrender into the challenge, the obstacle, then it ends up being a portal into that wisdom, into that next level of becoming. So maybe right now you're in a launch that's stalling. You're in a relationship that's shifting. You're in a season where nothing feels certain, whether it's a season of life in your personal life or in your business or in your career where it just feels uncertain. But what if we shift this? What if it isn't a detour? What if it's the path? What if this is the path? What if what you've been telling yourself, like, oh, I made a wrong turn this place or that place. What if this is the path? And I think the other thing to remember here and to keep in mind is that if you're listening to this, if you've been drawn into my world for whatever reason, then I know that you're not here to coast. You're not here for mediocrity, because I know I'm not. You're here to lead. You're here to shift. You're here to create ripple effects. And that means that you're going to be initiated. It means you're going to experience the challenge, the struggle, the hardship, the hard things. Your soul chose this moment for a reason. And it's not to test you. I really don't believe that God or the universe tests us. I don't see it that way anymore. I used to believe that. I used to see it that way, but I just don't anymore. I don't think that we experience these things to be tested, but to be shaped. You're experiencing this not to test you, but to shape you. You are being made. You are being molded. You are being created. You are in the becoming. And so I always think about this. I saw it again in a book that I was reading a few weeks ago, as I've heard this metaphor so many times. But when a storm rolls in, the cows in the field, the cows will run away from it, but the buffalo run into it head on, straight into the storm. They know that the fastest way through the storm is to move with it. So I invite you to be the buffalo. Take that energy. The only way to it is through it, y'all. That's it. And if this is resonating with you, I want to leave you with some things to contemplate today or over the weekend, like I like to do here in these episodes. Just ask yourself, what challenge have you been avoiding or resisting or numbing that is actually your soul's way through? And what if this thing that you're running from is the very thing that will set you free? What if that's the thing and not you resisting it? And so I challenge you, my friend, listening to this, that if you're in the thick of it, if you are the buffalo and you're in the thick of the storm, to put on your armor, call in your guides, call out to God, the universe, and walk straight into it, because the only way to it is through it. I'll see you next time, my friend.